Morning, my dear students. Let's start our computer science class. In the previous class, we discussed the chapter function. According to our syllabus, the chapter function is over, and today let us revise what we have studied. So you all know what is a function. Function is a subprogram. If a large program is divided into small subprograms, which is known as function. By using this function, modularity is possible. That means we can divide the program into small modules. And there are three classifications, mainly two classifications for function. They are library function and user-defined function. As the name implies, library functions are the functions that are given by the Python programming language. In library functions, there are two classifications too. That means functions implemented from modules and functions not implemented from modules. That means some functions we can use directly without implementing or without using import statement. We can use some default function. For example, our print function, input functions, all. We can use that function without implementing or importing any package. But some functions are there which can we implement by using the corresponding module only. For example, if we want to perform sine or cosine operation, then we have to import the math module. So this is known as functions implemented from the modules. Then what is user-defined function? User-defined function is the function defined by the user so that the program length is reduced by using this user-defined function. So user-defined function consists of two parts. They are function call and function definition. Then the parameters inside function call is known as actual parameters, and parameters in function definition is known as formal parameters. Then we can pass the parameters, and there will be sometimes there will be return statement and sometimes there will not be return statement. Then Python supports three types of formal arguments. They are positional arguments, default arguments, and keyword arguments. Positional arguments, also known as required arguments. That means if you are supplying three arguments from the function call, then function definition must contain three formal parameters or formal arguments. This is known as positional. Default arguments means we can give the default value inside function definition. That means inside function header we can give value. Then keyword arguments or named arguments means the arguments which denote our original arguments purpose. That means for sum we are using sum, for add we are using add, like that. Then parameter having default value in function header known as default parameter. Then a default argument can be skipped in function call statement. And keyword arguments means the arguments which have the meaning that denote that corresponding arguments. Then based on return type we can classify function into two types. They are non-void function and void or fruitful function. Void or a function void or non-fruitful. So non-void function is known as fruitful function. Void function is known as non-fruitful function. That means if a function returns value by using return statement, it is known as fruitful function. If the function does not return a value, it is known as non-fruitful or void function. So a void function internally returns a value as none. A function in program can invoke other program or other function. Then we discussed about scope of a variable inside the function. There are two types of functions. They are local scope and global scope. Local scope means the corresponding variable have existence in the corresponding function definition only. That means within the function only that variable have existence and value. But global scope, as the name implies, in overall the program, the value will be there. So, global variable can have value in overall the program. So, by using a statement global, we can use global variable. Then mutability of arguments means we can change the values of arguments and we can change the memory. We can, in the same memory location itself is known as mutability. That means list is mutable. That means we can change the value in a list in the corresponding position itself. So these are the revisions. So let's start some solved example. What are the advantages of program? You all know it is easy to understand. Redundant code is omitted. That means repetition of code is avoidable. Then reusable function also possible. Then in this second question is identify the parts mentioned below. What is function header? So this program starts from here. From here execution starts. Python interpreter will starts from here, and it finds the function header. The control will goes to here, not the block inside function will work. So value of y equal to 54, then res equal to process number of y. That means instead of y, 54 is passed. This 54 is received at the position of x. That means here value will be 54. Like that program work. So this x is overwrite by 72. That's not at all a problem. So in this return statements are used. Return statement means when we will get the result, that means x plus 3 is returned back to the calling function. That means this res will get the value which is returned by the function. So identify the parts. So this is function call. Process number of y is the function call. Function header. This is function definition. In function definition, function first line will be function header. This is function body. That means x equal to 72. Return of x plus 3 is the function body. Y is known as actual parameter or arguments, and x is known as formal parameters or simply parameters. This is argument, this is parameter, and this is the function body. This is the main program which have y equal to 54, res equal to process number of y. That means this is main program because from here function is called. So these are the parts of the function. Then next is trace the following code and predict the output. So from where program will start, it will omit this function, and from line 9 the program starts. So first statement will be worked, then this part is omitted. When interpreter understand that this is a function, then function body will be omitted, then this part is worked, then again this body is omitted, then line 9 is, that means 1 started, 1 worked, 5 worked, then 9. In 9 what happened? N equal to 5. That means the value of n becomes 5. So result equal to calc square of n plus power of 3, 3. This calc square of n is a function. So it will goes to the corresponding function. That means to calc square of x. The function will go. Here the square is calculated as, we want to find the square of x. So power of x, 2. Otherwise we can use x star 2. then return A. The result will be returned back to here. Then plus power of 3. Again a new function is called. The function's name is power. Then the value b becomes 3, value p becomes 3, b raised to p, that means 3 raised to 3, and y is returned. Then result is printed. The answer will be 52. That means square of n means value of n equal to 5. Here 25 is the result which is returned. Power of 3 means 3 raised to 3, which is 27. So 27 plus 25, which we will get the answer as 52. So like this program is worked and the result is printed. Then again next question for finding the flow of execution. So flow of execution first will be first line, then fifth line, then ninth line. Like in the previous statement, first line, fifth line, ninth line. And in ninth line what happened? N equal to 5. Then result equal to calc square of n. Then it will goes to this statement. That means 6 and 7 will execute and print result. And here also the same type program work. That means when the interpreter started executing, only function header will be considered. Function body will consider only then the function is called. So first line, in this case first what happened? First line will be work, then fifth line, sixth line, and in seventh line, then again second line, then third line, then X, like that work. Next question is, what is the difference between formal parameters and actual parameters? Actual parameters is also known as arguments. The parameter is inside function call. For example, here Q is the actual parameters, Y is the actual parameter. That means parameter inside the function call is known as actual parameter. Parameter inside function definition, that means this X is known as formal parameters. Actual parameters is also known as arguments. Formal parameter is also known as parameter. Then consider a function. This is a function header. Here are some function calls given below. So this is the function header. So some function calls are given below. So which is correct? We have to choose it. First one, info of object 1. First one will be correct because for object 1 the value is passed. Both to spacing and collapse are the default arguments. In second B it is incorrect because for spacing equal to 20 means we want to give value for this object. So the value have to be given. So required positional object or arguments is missing. Then info of object 2, 12. What happened? For object 2, this object 2 value will be there. Then 12 for spacing. And for collapse, default value is taken. Info object 11, object equal to object 12. It is incorrect because object 11, the object is passed. Then object equal to object 12 is wrong. Then object 3 collapse equal to 0. That means object is passed here. Collapse gets value 0 and skip the arguments for spacing. The spacing value, default value 10 is taken for spacing. And what happened? This object 3 is passed to here for spacing. This default value is taken. This collapse 0 is taken. Info means at least one arguments we want to pass because for object we want to pass the value, so it is wrong. Info collapse equal to 0, object equal to 3 means it is incorrect because positional arguments should be there. That means for object we have to supply value. Then space equal to 15, object equal to 14 is correct. So these are the explanation. We can continue from 7th question in the next class. Let's wind up now. Thank you.